So, back during his part of the battle against Sukuna, Gojo had, like Yuji, awakened and achieved a unique reverse curse technique due to the two black flashes. In turn, he redistributed its usage to different areas of his brain, relieving the stress placed on him and allowing him to regain the reverse curse technique which had been previously lost. Looking down on Yuji below him, it's evident that it should be the same for the King of Curses, Ryuman Sukuna. He should be able to regenerate his arms and fix himself up, but due to our boy coming through clutch and landing 7 black flashes that struck at the soul's border between him and Megami, it's resulted in Sukuna completely losing the chance to activate his reverse curse technique. Elsewhere, atop a building, Big L tells his boy that he put in a solid shift. Now though, he hopes that God has mercy on him in his next path. Coughing up and mentioning that he isn't even freaking dead yet, Miguel's attention is quickly torn away from Leroux as he sees the explosion of someone's aura. Questioning that this has to be a joke, we boost back to the fight to see that Sukuna, alongside these sparks of black, he's regained his domain expansion, the Malevolent Shrine. For those wondering why or what's up with this completely new center for his domain, to be honest, I don't even know. Plus, here we can almost see the outline of his barrier, which is crazy as well because, bro has a barrierless domain. To be honest, and I'm just assuming that it has something to do with Sukuna having to alter his hand signs to compensate for those destroyed ones. Apparently, by actually changing those hand signs and using a specific part of his brain that was unaffected by the Infinite Void, Sukuna was able to activate his curse technique alongside his barrier. Amidst a sea of uncertainties and impromptu binding vows, Ryuman Sukuna, after his rush of black flashes, was able to recreate the Malevolent Shrine without loss in the overall radius or the potency behind its slashes. So skipping back now to the preparation for this battle, Hikari pointed out, as we all know, that both reverse curse techniques and domain expansions are vital to their upcoming operation. Speaking up, Aki lets him know that it's absolutely useless to her, annoying Hikari, who obviously wasn't even talking to her about reverse curse technique. When it comes to Yuji and Choso though, Big Bro mentions that he may have a way where he and Yuji could figure it out. Wondering exactly how all of the others regenerate their bodies with reverse curse technique, Choso inquires how they compensate for their lost blood. Hikari and Yuta both replied that it's more or less off instinct. However, Shoko says that she converts her curse energy into blood. As we know in JUJUTSU KAISEN, there are a ton of people who can use reverse curse technique but can't heal anyone themselves. One fundamental reason for this is the difference in usage. Another reason can also be the body of the target refusing to be healed. Throughout the world of Jujutsu, there are just countless cases where the curse energy of the one healing rejects the process, and almost as many where the curse energy of the one being healed doesn't respond to the conversion. Hence why when it comes to Shoko herself, it's more or less a case-by-case thing when it comes to the effectiveness of her healing. Having actually thought that himself as well, Choso elaborates that his body allows him to convert curse energy into blood. This actually helps him a lot with overcoming the initial hurdle of learning reverse curse technique. In turn, if Yuji sucks up a few of his brothers, he should technically gain a body capable of that as well, alongside a few extra techniques, as we've seen so far. Plus, that ain't all. According to Choso, their bodies allow them to compensate for the technical aspects of reverse curse technique. This means that the main limiting factor behind the reverse curse technique is immense curse energy, which Choso doesn't really think applies to them at all, because, they're both stocked up with a lot of freaking curse energy. With this all said, Big Bro asks that he has someone switch with his current partner so he can learn off someone who actually uses reverse curse technique. Standing there, just kind of confused with what's going on, Yuji listens as Wee Wee butts in and explains how his technique is the teleportation of targets. If he is with someone, he can easily transport them to a place or person he's previously marked. How he does this is by breaking down the body and soul into two separate entities, then using the body as a box to transport its contents. However, if he has the permission of the individual, the box's contents can be taken. Or, in short, because that's kind of confusing, Lil Bro is able to swap the souls of two marked individuals if they give him permission. Wondering what's up with Yuji, he says that it just reminds him of the body manipulation abilities Mahito used to have. Curious and probably kind of freaked out, he wonders if the shape of the person's body and soul could be stretched if they swap. Letting him know that it isn't an issue at all and he doesn't actually need to worry, Wee Wee says he can swap the contents without the boxes ever opening. Pretty much saying that he doesn't need to worry about the soul being manipulated. Plus, on top of this, no one is actually able to tell whether or not the contents of an unopened box have ever been tampered with. Pointing out that Yuji's growth as a sorcerer has been insane, Kusakabe asks him if he knows why. Joking that it has to be his innate talent, Kusakabe kills the vibe by letting him know that it was his uncle. Obviously he doesn't know it's his uncle yet. Like in a sport, if he does certain moves over and over again, it'll sort of become a muscle memory. Since Sukuna operated his technique in Yuji's body, it means his cells likely remember the extreme special grade Jujutsu. Letting him know that they're going to be doing the same practice with switch training, Kusakabe says that he will first switch with Yuji. Once in control, he will hammer his curse energy manipulation and a foundation barrier, the simple domain, into his very core. Curious, because Hikari was almost certain there was a binding veil preventing people from learning the technique outside of the Shadow School. Mei, with a devious grin on her face, tells him he doesn't need to worry as she's taking care of the situation, which is like, what the freak did she do? Did she just murk the person who made the vow or something? Like, I don't know, I have no clue. This also makes me question as well if like someone else could learn a domain through Wee soul like swapping abilities, as in like they go into someone who knows a domain, they do a domain in that person's body. I don't know, you know what I'm saying. Anyways, back in the domain, Yuji immediately activates new shadow style, simple domain. Staring forth and seeing the black amalgamation of curse energy and innate thought merge together, Yuji can tell that the domain isn't complete. If he can just endure this, he's sure there has to be some sort of opening. Seeing Sukuna still proudly holding up his gang signs, we find that Yuji did indeed correctly analyze the situation. Maintaining the highest degree of difficulty, even at the 11th hour, Sukuna sent slashes flying throughout his barrier on a scale just as large as in Shibuya. To do this, he actually created his expansion in an outer shelled barrier. From this, the original binding veil that allowed an escape route has now vanished, and it not only resulted in an even tighter range with his techniques, but also changed the complete workings of his domain. Now, within his materialized realm, his sure hit effect will activate. If his domain was activated even slightly differently, it most likely wouldn't have worked, as Maki, who's invisible to cursed energy, wouldn't have been able to escape. However, due to the absolutely beaten state he's currently in, it's frankly impossible for him to maintain a high level domain for an extended period of time. Thinking on the spot, Yuji guesses that it's probably going to take 90 seconds, meaning that in just 90 seconds, Malevolent Shrine will collapse, and if they can survive, they can finally win. Pleading with themselves to just bear it all for a moment longer, everyone fends off the sea of slashes, with Maki being assisted by freaking Miwa, who I never expected to make a reappearance. Like, my apologies on that there for the shade I gave her like 2 chapters ago. Unable to keep up his reverse curse technique though, Yuji is hit by a flurry of brutal slashes that cut his leg off and send him tumbling backwards. Snapping back to his feet moments later, confused, he wonders why. Why did the slashes stop? Did they truly endure the full 90 seconds? Furnace. Open. In front of Yuji though, Sukuna opens his infamous black box called the Furnace and begins to ready up his most lethal ability yet. Damn, what a freaking chapter. It's getting hot right now. If you enjoyed it as well and want me to keep doing stuff like this weekly, covering the Jujutsu Kaisen chapters in their final moments, then leave a like and comment down below just letting me know. Straight up though, the freaking foreshadowing that was laid out in this chapter by Big Kusakabe, if you guys noticed it, it's almost certain to me. Like, why would they include it now in this chapter and then go into Furnace? That Yuji will also probably activate the Furnace, but later on, not in the next chapter. From what we have seen so far when it comes to, you know, the Furnace ability, I do believe it's a completely series-ending type ability, especially if Yuji was to use it. Like, it just, like, it would feel like that way, if that makes sense. Like, it just feels like if Yuji pulls out this black box and hits Sukuna with it, it could end the entire freaking series. But, you know, I hate even saying that because I want the series to freaking go on forever. I can't lie though, I also never expected Wee to come out the bag with a freaking body swapping soul ability. I originally thought it was just something Yuji had, and you know, like when we got that flashback with Kusakabe and stuff, I originally thought it was just something Yuji had gained from eating his brothers, but that's just laughable now. Lastly, what's up with freaking Sukuna's domain? Do you think his shrine is just laid out flat, kind of like a 3D box you haven't fully constructed yet, or something completely different as like a new centerpiece to his domain? Could even have something to do with the merger, like there was some skeletal structure to it as well. Who even knows at this point? Either way, subscribe if you are new around here, as it really helps out with pushing my content to a bunch of new amazing people. But for now, it's been your professional degenerate, Diavolo, and I will see you all in a bit. Bye.